Hello together. In this video I will show you how I exchanged one of the motors on a Craftbot 3. It is not the one that is standing behind me, this is the second one that I bought. So this is already a newer one. It has the second generation of print heads, and the one that I have, that I'm talking about, is situated at the Makerspace in Vaduz. So I gave them my original one because I know my first one in and out. You know, I know it so well that I thought, okay, I'm not really sure if those print heads behave in the same way, and so I thought, okay, I'm gonna give the original one that I had to the Makerspace. Shortly after, I found out it has some squeaking noise, and the gantry, it didn't move smoothly anymore, and I thought, okay, it might be some of problem with the linear rails because it's moving on linear rails on the X and Y axis. And I started disassembling it, and I filmed myself doing so. And in the beginning I made lots of mistakes. I learned along the way, and I took apart the linear rail. I took out the balls of the linear rails, you know, the little sliders, and I had researched what kind of balls are in there. So I found out that they have 2.36 millimeters. I bought some exchange, 500 pieces. I think I bought it from Amazon. I will check out where I bought it and put it on the video. You have to look for a high grade steel of those balls if you want to exchange it. And I posted this in the community, and they told me, you are not allowed to take it apart, you shouldn't do that. And I thought, why shouldn't I do that? You know, I'm a dental technician, and I'm used to working with fiddly stuff, and I proved those men wrong. I was able to take it apart and clean everything. I put everything back together. I found out that one or two balls were missing, which is still okay. It's like the dead pixels that you have to deal with sometimes when you buy a new computer screen. So there, sometimes one ball is missing or two. But I learned a lot along the way. But finally, I found out that one of the motors was not working properly. It didn't turn. It turned, and when I rotated the axis, part of it was rotating freely, and when I kept on turning it, it was blocking. So that motor was not good anymore. It was the one here in the front, because it does not only have the motors in the back, it also has two in the front. And when I was taking it apart, I found out, I shouldn't do that in the machine. So I took out the entire gantry that is up here in this printer. And I thought, oh my goodness, yeah. Luckily I had everything on film, but I should have moved the camera closer. So once I looked at the film, I wasn't quite sure, I cannot really see that in detail. Will I ever get it back again, back together again? And luckily I had a small plate where, with lots of sections where I put on all the screws. Every time I took something apart, I had a own section for the screws. So then when I assembled it back together, I just went backwards. And finally, you know, when I came to the belts, because when you take everything apart, the belts will fall off. And it is wound up so complicated. No, I thought, okay, let's make a film here. So I took my iPhone and I tried to follow the belts, which you cannot see from the top because they run underneath, and I guided with my hand, and I tried to film what I thought I would be right. And I looked at my iPhone film, and I didn't really get it. So it took quite a while to get it back together again, and but now I know I can do that. So if something ever happens with this printer again, I know I can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. Yeah. So just film your process of taking it apart, and then everything works. You will be able to do it. And yeah, so this is also a little bit like a review about this printer. As you have just heard before, I even bought a second one. I found it on a local platform called Tutti. It's like eBay. I think every country has their own second buy platforms. In the meantime, I put a individual crafted magnetic spring steel on it, you know, a PEI sheet. And the only thing that I really miss is that, the leveling, it takes a little bit, but once you got it, you don't have to redo it every time when you print, and you get used to it. And the leveling of the heads to each other is a little bit fiddly, but other printers that have a CoreXY system, they also have the same issue, not really issue, but you have to take your time, you have to get used to your 3D printer, and once you have dialed it in, it really prints nicely, really, really nicely. I'm so happy. So if you get the chance to buy a used one, go ahead. Even if something is not okay anymore, you can fix it. You know, recently I grabbed into the print head and I broke off a blade of the fan, of the cooling fan. I got a replacement, but I shouldn't have bought it, because, you know, I thought, okay, I will take this apart and I will check if I can just exchange the fan. And the only thing that you have to know is you have to know how to solder. So you just buy a fan that has 9 blades. You have to look a little about what is written on the old fan. Luckily I even had a replacement. I didn't even have to buy a new one, and I just fixed it, you know. No issue. And the motors, I found them online. I could have even bought my own one, but I got it now through a dealer. I got the original one, but you can find them. So it's a wonderful printer. I love it. And the width is, you know, the bed is 374 and the depth is 250. When I got the bed here, the build plate size is 258 depth, and the printing size, they say 250. And it is really silent at the moment. You just hear, I don't know if you can even hear it, the fan on the back is running, but the whole printer isn't really loud. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I don't understand why they haven't kept it as an entry level. Yeah, because in the meantime they have the Flow series, which is much more expensive. It has all the bells and whistles that this one doesn't have. But why didn't they keep the Craftbot 3 as an entry-level CoreXY for private users? Because the Flow is more like for business persons and not for makers like me. Yeah, I don't understand. Hello everybody, so this is a part 2 of the disassembly regarding the Craftbot 3. Last time I took out this part of the y-axis, you know, the linear rail. I was told by the community not to do so, but I've done that in the past already, so I really believe that I will get it back together. I decided to take out the entire gantry because it was totally fiddly to get the linear rail out with this part here in place. And I also want to clean out the other linear rail. It might not be the linear rail causing that, so I will also take a look at all the motors if they cause the binding. So I'm not really sure yet what it causes. And I try to move it, you see it, to the back. It's blocking here in one point. Also here in the back it's blocking quite a bit. It was just like that before. And there's quite a resistance here, so it could be this motor. The other one is already taken out, so it can only be this motor here, I guess. Yeah. Or maybe the other one on the other side, as both are moving, so not quite sure. Luckily they aren't that expensive, but yeah, I will see. Hope that it can be solved quickly, because I want to print some projects with this printer. But it's an interesting experience. I guess next time I will be quicker, and what I also want to do is I want to put on a cover, because here in the Makerspace it's quite dusty once in a while, and in order to protect those linear rails, it makes sense to put on a cover of some kind. It doesn't matter if it's a plastic bag or something else, just in order to protect it. Or you have an enclosure, that would be even better. So yeah, might be worthwhile investing in one, or you build your own one out of acrylic pieces, you know. Of course, you have to have a laser. We have one. Might be a good project to invest into. Great. Okay, I will start. First of all, I'm going to put on the light, because it's already getting dark in here. There we go. And then let's start.